Thank you. For the record, Daryl Perry, CEO of Lobby LLC, and I noticed that there's an amendment to HB580 that seems to eliminate some of these high fees. I would not be opposed to the amendment. However, I would still be opposed to the bill because, well, some of the definitions seem to be a little confusing. Let me go through some of them that I've highlighted. What would be 287-H1 Roman numeral 5. Fantasy sports contest means a fantasy or simulated game or contest in which one or more players competes against each other, and winning outcomes reflect the relative knowledge and skill of the player and are determined predominantly by accumulating statistical results of the performance of the individuals, athletes, in the case of sporting contests. Next, in 287H3 1D, it says, provided that no winning outcome is based on the score, point spread, or performance of any single actual sports team or combination of teams, or solely on the performance of any individual. Which means that if the fantasy sports contest comes down to one player scoring more touchdowns than the other player, then that seems to basically invalidate the entire thing, because the point spread is coming down to one athlete performing better than the other athlete, even though you might have an entire team or an entire roster. Additionally, two of the fantasy sports leagues that I compete in, you have a head coach, where if the team wins, your coach gets 10 points, thus your team gets 10 points. Again, if the point spread for the game itself is smaller than that margin of what one athlete gets, does this make the entire game illegal? 287-H3 Roman 3 could be construed to prohibit filling out a March Madness bracket, where it says that you can't base the outcome on collegiate events. And as you all know, March Madness is all about filling out a bracket of which college basketball team is going to outperform another basketball team. While this bill is certainly better, and I use that definitely in air quotes, better than outright prohibition, the fees in the bill as written, not as amended, are high. I have an acquaintance who operates a small fantasy sports league or sports website. He lives in the Seacoast area. He said that if this passes, he might have to move his business and his family out of the state, because it would be basically just too high for him to operate in the state that he moved to, that he wishes to live in. I believe that HB 562, which was retained by the House Ways and Means Committee, is a much better bill in that it explicitly exempts online gambling from gambling offenses. This seems to be creating regulations for the sake of regulations to possibly wind up keeping out some of the smaller competition. And with that, I will answer any questions.